Welcome back to the Hellcase Cup 8. We're going to be going into our second map of the best of 3. Hard Legion have taken the knife round, and thus they get the CT side start they desire. It's up to HAVU to strut their stuff on the T side once again, and they've got off to one hell of a start already. A kill, and well, almost a kill, with Rage on just 1 HP. Still, the shot's coming through, and Throne has managed to find one elsewhere, but they're going to go all the way around the world, exploring the whole of Train, as they are going to make their way into this B side.
Yeah, guided tour of Train, offered up by HAVU. Let's see if they can end up on the B-bomb site, though. The kills continue to go back and forth, and Rage, despite being low on health, finds a good angle. He's got to be careful being on just a single point of health. He goes aggressive, but Doto gets him from behind, and that bomb still isn't on the site. sLowi has the bomb in his hands right now, and they might be thinking about going back to A. Doto is sticking around on B, but the bomb is going back round. And Doto's just going to try and draw the attention, try and buy time for his teammate. Looking to stay alive as long as possible here, but I think Hard Legion may have realized the bomb is still yet to be planted. Doto gets another kill, though, and it's up to kinqie, who is now coming back to B, where the bomb is arriving. kinqie not ready for sLowi's angle, though. After a drawn-out pistol, it's HAVU who get themselves on the board early.
That was one of the most confusing pistol rounds I've seen in a while. Both teams just consistently rotating back and forth, and very hard to get an actual read on this situation. Doto, though, in it for the long haul. Very good pistol round from him, and good to see like they're keeping, I guess, the train going.
Yeah, in case you've just joined us, a massive, colossal comeback from HAVU on the first map. They were down 12-3 at the half. They came back to win on Overpass. Now they're looking to do the same on their map pick of Train. Saw upgrades to the Galil and gets a kill on towards kinqie through the smoke. The pistols are doing a surprising amount of damage here, though, and the scouts are also still alive. And we know on Train those scouts can be pretty good in some of these positions, and Rage has chimed in with that scout, landing another shot and making life difficult for HAVU. The bomb's been dropped, another man lost. It's all on Saw. The Galil is not going to get it done. Krad just wide peeks with no fear, despite being so low on health, and Hard Legion bounce back instantly.
It's going to be like the last map, because that's what I'm getting vibes to already. Like, they won the pistol in the last map, then they lost the following 3 rounds, and, well, actually, I think it was more than that. It was 4 or 5, because they ended up force buying continuously. We're going to see the investment once again. In this case, I don't think anybody really can frown upon it, because HAVU don't have the cash to buy in the next round. They wouldn't even be close, so might as well go for an investment here. sLowi does have himself a scout, but no armor, so he really does have to be careful of those extra grenades, and with a couple of rifles invested into, Hard Legion are definitely in a better position here than their Finnish counterparts.
kinqie's got the auto shotty and pop dog as well. They're going to try and flash in, and okay, ZOREE wins the fight against the shotgun. The problem is, stealing a shotgun doesn't make a massive difference. He shouldn't have too many chances to use it, but just getting an opening kill is pretty surprising in that position. And it does make life much more uncomfortable for the CTs. 2 scouts in play as well for Hard Legion. So if those players get overrun by the pistols, there might be some issues here for the CIS side. As Doto looks to line up another kill. It won't be coming his way, but HAVU just pumped the brakes after getting themselves an early lead.
Yeah, they're going to be throwing out their one smoke to try and section off Ivy. Flashbangs expended as well to give them that extra bit of space. It's going to be difficult for them to clear all these angles, and svyat from above is raining death down. Still a fair few tanks coming in. Doto is able to trade one back. When svyat low, he can't really peek anymore. One by one they fall. You said the shotgun might not have any impact. It's got a kill, but Throne is there. 3 kills for him. Again, we see this second round converted for Hard Legion. Now the T's, in theory, can't buy.
Yeah, I would like to see HAVU learning from the mistakes of Overpass and just going for a low buy here. Again, you do a fair bit of damage, only 2 CTs surviving, but a force buy is not too likely to be successful in this round for the Finns, and I think they've figured that out. They've gone for the low buy. Just 2 upgraded pistols being bought into this one. So Hard Legion should have a fairly easy time of things here. And Krad is getting aggressive. If you've watched Krad before, you'll know that this is quite common for him to make these sorts of plays. He's pushed all the way through B. I think HAVU at this point will have to just try and clear out his position once this smoke fades. And oh, Krad actually gets one through the smoke. 3 kills for Krad before he's finally traded. The MP9 paying off for him, and now the AK of Throne is set up for success on the B site hold. This is not a fight that ZOREE wants to take with the MP9, and Hard Legion get themselves the 3-1 lead as anticipated.
Yeah, and they've done it while building a hell of a lot of finances up along the way, so it's going to be rough for HAVU to actually break them. Even going into this round, they're going to have a few pieces missing. We'll see a Galil invested into as well. Odds firmly in the favor of HAVU, but after winning their opponent's map choice with a massive comeback, it's understandable that people are going to favor them. Of course, we expect to see a lot from them on the CT side, but do worry a little bit if their T side is going to be anything like the last map.
Yeah, we'll get to see if that's the case as svyat just goes running into Doto. Close quarters engagement for the AK, but he gets the kill he was looking for. And HAVU are happy to slow it down with that man advantage that they've been able to find themselves, spotting out the early CT aggression. kinqie actually takes damage from that nade, and he got forced out of Pop Dog just long enough to allow the double drop, to allow another kill for HAVU. Well worked at the start of this round from the Finns, and from here, they should be able to close this round out.
This is interesting, though, because they've rotated players off the B side. They had the call correct originally. Throne only able to net one, and realistically, this should just be a save from this point. Still, though, Krad is going to get aggressive. And it seems like his teammate has already given up on the round, so to fight this seems a little bit pointless. He might get the kill onto sLowi. It's close, but unfortunately, he won't gain anything, and now Rage is just in full save mode. The rest of the team will still have enough money to buy into the next round anyway, but it would have been nice for Krad to just keep that extra gun.
Yeah, I guess Hard Legion's rotate might have come in part because of a fake smoke that HAVU threw, which landed over on the A site near Ivy. And because they only had one man on A, that player probably was worried. He couldn't watch both Ivy and Pop Dog and T-Main. He'd have had to have called to his teammates that there's a chance that the players were pushing out onto A. So I think that one smoke from HAVU might have just made all the difference necessary. And Rage is able to save the AWP, so that's a positive for Hard Legion. That's a gun that they could have still got into this next round, but now they're going to get 2 of them. Krad goes for the secondary AWP. Again, he normally is the secondary AWPer of the team, but he's someone who tries to get very aggressive with it at times. We've seen on Inferno, he goes for those banana peaks and sometimes gets caught out because of it. On Train, though, there are many options for early aggressions for these AWPers. You can peek through Ivy, you can get aggressive into A main, you can get aggressive through upper B, so it's going to be much more difficult for HAVU to predict where Krad's AWP will be playing and whether he'll be going aggressive. So this is the sort of map where I think Krad's AWPing could work if he plays for those aggro fights. Right now, though, he's just playing on the B site and playing it a bit safer at the start of this round.
This is an important round for both teams, of course. The Ts aren't able to really make too much money as of yet, and the CTs are on their last fight before they'd have to take an eco. The early aggressor from sLowi actually only gets 1. The trades are there eventually. It looked like Rage should have got away with absolutely nothing with such an aggressive stance in this round, but in fact, he comes off with 2. Throne has found another one, and kinqie trying to do the same, leaves just Doto left. 1 man versus the world. As he does get that first kill. The man on the top of the train could be a little bit tougher to clear, but he expects it. It doesn't matter, though. kinqie lands the shot, and Hard Legion have a 4th.
Yeah, and if HAVU could have got a bomb plant, or if they could have got onto a bomb site, they might have had enough money to buy. But without it, with the clean sweep going against them, they're probably taking a half investment here. They could maybe be tempted. Oh, and they look like they have been. They've got 2 AKs out. It's not the best buy. They at least have nades, which is nice. I think that's one of the reasons why they've perhaps been tempted into going for this force buy. They've got full nades on 4 players. ZOREE's had to go without the helmet, which could be a problem for him, but a fast-paced play onto B. Krad going into the open, almost lines up multiple kills there, and they're going to try and push him, and they actually win the fight. Oh, the nade from Throne touches down onto 2 players, though, and that has really taken the wind out of HAVU's sails.
ZOREE still able to get one, but they all fall like flies after that. It's left onto Doto once again, and if anything, he's in a worse position than last time. Hoping to try and get a bomb plant here, but I'm not sure he'll be fast enough to get onto the site. Although saying that, kinqie didn't actually complete his rotate through the connector, and this is an interesting choice from Doto. He's gone round the back of the trains. Maybe even looking to wrap around behind them. The thing is, this position is being held by Rage. It's being considered already by the CT side. A bomb plant really would benefit HAVU far more, and I'll be realistic. I don't think he has much of a chance to actually win this round, so the damage becomes a little bit null and void if they're not going to be able to get anything, and while Rage is just patiently waiting.
Yeah, I have to assume that Doto thought there would be a man already rotating through connector there. I think that's why he was trying to see if he could maybe find someone in the back or just find someone, because you don't expect A to be that open. There's the nade from Throne, though. The early damage from Krad did actually end up having an impact. Set up Throne for a nice double nade kill. So even though Krad wasn't able to line up frags on the aggression, he at least did damage to help his teammates on the hold. And now HAVU are down to pistols. Hard Legion still haven't built up much money, though. So if HAVU can just continue to get a few kills in these sorts of rounds, they could be able to reset the CT economy into the future. Into the very close future as well, considering Hard Legion's money isn't great right now. But Rage lands that first shot. He almost gets caught there, but he gets back to safety. kinqie putting down some covering fire as well. There's a kill through the smoke. And this time round, HAVU... Oh, they've got a free B site. They might get this bomb down. Well, they're going to get this bomb down.
The ultimate bamboozle. You guys go A, I go B with bomb. The old classic strategy. It was the 11th commandment that no one ever knew. If you're Catholic, I apologize. And yeah, that is, yeah, it's not a bad round, in all honesty. They get a bomb plant, they get some extra cash, they do a small amount of damage onto Throne, and they've bamboozled Hard Legion. The problem is, though, is that the CT side have now made a fair amount of cash in this round. So, although you have built up your own money, you've also built up your opponents.
Yeah, it would have been nicer if HAVU could have got maybe 3 kills or 4 kills out of that round, I think, compared to a bomb plant, because they don't have the same chance to reset their opponent's economy. But a bomb plant is the second best thing they could have got there. And it does allow them to get a very comfortable buy into this round. Saw is able to get a couple of flashes with his AK. The rest of the team having full nades. ZOREE getting the AWP into his hands. So all looking good on the HAVU side in terms of their buy. But it's not looking good at the start of the round, with svyat getting aggressive and getting 2 kills on the spray down. HAVU trying to assemble that boost, but it gets toppled by svyat's double spray. And at this point, HAVU will probably just be looking to land some shots to get themselves back into this round, because they're pretty far behind now.
Yeah, it's looking like we're going to need to have another impressive comeback from them, because again, it's a flying start. The timing for hoody not quite working out. Rage has also found a kill on the other side of the map, and well, this round is just going from bad to worse. The timing for hoody also gives his position up for a second time. Going to throw the smoke down, but I think the CTs at this point already know that he's not going in this direction, and they have the additional manpower to keep an eye on these other areas of the map. The bomb actually looking to go in through Ivy, and it's looking like they're going to try and split in towards this A site from complete opposite sides. It means no trades are possible. HAVU have to just hit their shots, and with 35 seconds left, they need to make a move already. Some extra utility being expended. Nice shot from sLowi, though. That will at least give them a little bit of extra space, but they're still homed in on the pop dog. An easy shot for Rage. Not quite going to get the second again. This cost is something that they can at least be happy about, but I don't know if they'll expect the rotation to be coming in. A bomb plant would also net them a buy for the next round, which is something at least, but the chances for sLowi are slim. Now he's the one getting surrounded.
Yeah, well worked by Hard Legion at the end there. After losing a couple of members, they just make sure that they have those two players on different angles, ready for the player on the site. And you always know it's likely the player who plants is going to go back towards that side of things. I don't know why kinqie is shooting this AK to his teammate. throne's going to get the AWP instead. So those two AWPs will be saved over for Hard Legion. And this is feeling fairly reminiscent of the first map, Tom. As you suggested earlier, it's been a very good start for Hard Legion on their CT side. Double AWP setup continues to come through for them. HAVU have had chances to break the bank, but they haven't been able to do it. Now Hard Legion have some money built up. And if you want some extra money over on Hellcase, you can use the code SLTV15 for a 15% refill bonus. You can also open up the Hell Cup 8 Pro case to contribute to the dynamic prize pool, currently standing at $31,381 precisely. Back into the action, though, because throne is being a ballsy boy in this round. He's going into the smoke, and I think he's realized this is a game that he doesn't want to play. He backs away a little bit.
Yeah, he's had a couple of impactful games, that's for sure. Not someone I've really seen too much other than yesterday when he stood in. And again, didn't really see too much from him, but he looked good on overpass, at least on the CT side, but that could be said for the whole team. And he's looking good again, holding down the B site as a solo member a lot of the time. A full rotation, though, already looking to come in for this CT side. An execution of sorts, but they've got stuck. Another double spray down. How many of these have we now seen? ZOREE at least trades one back, but they didn't even know that throne was on the other side. And sure, again, they're going to get a decent rotation into this site, maybe an after-plant position, but every single time this happens, it's a disadvantageous spot. A 2-on-3 as they find a kill, and still another round to fight back for HAVU.
Yeah, pretty slow rotation here from Hard Legion, though. They really are taking their time. Again, they've got kits across the board, but they don't have many nades, only flashes to work with. And we're going to need to see some flashes of brilliance here from the HAVU players to win this one. Doto sitting back, but it's hoody who takes the first fight and the first kill. It's into the 1v1, and Doto has got to play the time here. He knows the time is low. He goes to peek it, and there's just no time left. HAVU have just about come away with the round win, and kinqie's going to go up with the bomb at the end there, but the damage is done. HAVU's money isn't actually great at this point. Hard Legion should be okay across the board. They can drop for one of their teammates, but this is the issue you were talking about. Even when HAVU win that round, it's not exactly a convincing one. They all end up dying, and they're going to have a couple of weaknesses in this buy.
Yeah, this is going to be fairly rough for them. Like, the thing is, if they lose this round, they're right back into the rounds where they have to basically just hold off on a purchase and go for some pistols. If they win it, of course, then they've got themselves back into the map, because 4 rounds on the T side, plus an eco will be coming up for Hard Legion. It will be a pretty good position to be in. But I'm not sure I believe in that at this point. We haven't really seen too much, even on the individual basis. There's been so many opening kills coming up for Hard Legion. If anything, I feel like that round slipped away more off their own mistakes than anything else. Rage almost going down in the initial stages of the round. And look at this aggression coming out from Krad. Finally, we're starting to see the punishes come in onto these aggressive plays from Hard Legion. I don't think they have that much to fall back on either, especially what we've just seen in retake scenarios. So they need to keep getting these opening picks, and the fact that it's now slipped into the favor of their opponents could be a problem. A bigger problem, though, is going to be this easy-ish kill coming out for throne. He's going to continue, though, and that's a little bit too much.
Oh, and kinqie decided maybe it's worth going back at that point to try and take further fights, but kind of got left out to dry there by his teammate, unfortunately. Yeah, I think throne, once he pushes and gets the first kill, might be better served just sticking around, or even just holding an angle in towards upper B instead of pushing all the way through. Unfortunately, though, he went for the play which might have won them the round, but it ended up kind of losing it for them in the end. There's that reaction shot from sLowi to begin with, spotting the aggression of Krad, and HAVU are now looking much more likely to get themselves a good T-side together. They forced Hard Legion down to a low buy. I say low buy, there's basically no buy. There's one P250 bought by throne. ahead of this next round.
Yeah, this one's rough, and then that's how quickly a game of Train can switch. Like a couple of rounds, one in a row for HAVU, setting the economy back of Hard Legion, and now if they get, say, 6 rounds on the T side, we're going to be looking at them in the favored position here. Of course, again, going into the T side, we've got forZe missing, but we do see a lot of CIS squads do very well on the T side of Train, so it might not be like a nail in the coffin, even if this swings all the way back into HAVU's favor, but you would be feeling a little bit worried, especially after seeing how strong their CT side of Overpass was, which isn't even one of their more confident maps, so could be getting a little bit rough. Doto, wow, that is pretty rough for him. He's only going to get 1 kill versus what was just the USPs. Now the rotation from the T side will push into this B site. Throne going to be the only defender. Even a kill here would be something. Keep the economy a little bit lower, and there you go. There's 1. It's still not clearing this angle. This is starting to get a little bit worrying for my liking, as svyat's now come up with 1 more. This kill's coming back, but it's left with nothing left. I'm so surprised. They've just thrown around completely away to USPs. What is going on for HAVU today?
Yeah, they've lost a fair few rounds like that where they should be winning the majority of the time. Got to give props to Hard Legion, though, because there are a bunch of positions there where players just get away with 1 kill that makes the difference. In a position where they probably shouldn't be getting anything, they just get the 1 frag, and everyone keeps on doing that for the team. And then at the end, I think it was a quick double dink for Rage that ended up working out for him. Something I noticed earlier is that HAVU's coach isn't on the server. I think they have... Oh, I've forgotten his name now. You know what? I'll go look it up just to be sure. Yeah, they've got Disturbed as their coach, but he's not on the server right now. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe he's just busy today. But yeah, it's a bit of a weird sign seeing some of these rounds go against HAVU. I think some of the team play hasn't been as good as we're used to seeing from HAVU either, just in some of these rounds in general. Partly maybe because of how Hard Legion have been playing, partly because of the stand-in situation, I guess. But at the same time, it's not ideal for the HAVU side of things, and now this is a round where both teams don't have money remaining. HAVU could have built up some money with a round win there. Instead, whoever loses this one probably has to go down to a low buy, and if HAVU were to lose it, then Hard Legion could really run away with this first half.
Great. Flashbang from Krad is going to leave Hoodie completely blind. The opener's there, but there are trades back. Still keeps the advantage going. Rage trying to bait out his shot, and it works. He doesn't actually take the shot, but he's so zoomed in that he doesn't even realize that sLowi's peeked out. The Molotov going to be forced. kinqie actually goes wide. And while it's a trade on his own death, the Martyrdom leaves it all onto 1. And of course, HAVU, after losing to straight USPs, they're going to buy back in and win versus the full buy. It doesn't make much sense, but neither does this match. And while HAVU, they're back on a 5th. And now it almost has to be a force buy for Hard Legion.
Yeah, this sucks for Hard Legion at the end of the half here, because they're going to have, what, 2 force buys in round 14 and 15. That is assuming they lose this one, which we cannot assume with what we've seen from HAVU. But it does put Hard Legion in a position where they might actually end up losing out this half. Obviously, they've got the 8 rounds from the CT side, but if HAVU gets 70 rounds on the board, they'll be the ones that will probably be happier. Even though Train has become a bit more T-sided, it's still in favor of the CTs for the most part. And here goes sLowi moving into B.
Well, they pushed into the stack once again, and it's starting to get a little bit awkward once more. ZOREE looking to try and trade things back. Hoodie's got to connect some shots. He's going to lose the duel. We come back into a 2 versus 2. Doto actually only has a MAC-10, and the peak coming back around. That's an AK now retrieved. That's almost enough to kill off another. These rounds shouldn't be so close, but the fallback actually baits a rotation. Rage is going to go towards the A site, and that's exactly what HAVU were hoping for. Just patiently waiting. And Throne, 18 kills so far in this half. I feel like we haven't highlighted him as a player enough. Again, a stand-in for the squad, having a standout performance in back-to-back maps. If he could steal this round away, we could see double digits on the board for the side of Hard Legion. The patience, though, I quite like it, because now Throne starts to doubt himself. The flashbang solid, but It's actually not going to be the kill coming in. Wonderful shot from ZOREE, though. That could be the round decider, but look how low the remaining players are. This scout is no longer a scout. It's an AWP, but it's not going to connect. HAVU scrape that one through, and ZOREE, it definitely deserves a pat on the back.
Yeah, he had to do a lot there. Landed a no-scope to begin with, I believe. In some of those awkward closer range fights, it wasn't the AKs that were landing. It seemed to be the AWP of ZOREE. And now Hard Legion are in this same position where it's a similar buy into the last round of the half. So even though it hasn't been convincing all the time for HAVU, they should be able to get 7 rounds, assuming they can win this one. And that would be good from them over on this T side. Yeah, definitely got to give props to Throne, though, especially as he is playing on that B site, which normally you'd expect experienced players to be playing there, and you'd expect players who have that experience and are able to not make mistakes to be playing there. But for Throne to be playing so well on that B side of the map is definitely impressive. Definitely a good sign for him and for Hard Legion. Here comes the aggression, though. Rage with the scout. Doesn't even get close to landing the shot. Doto is too quick with his movement. And HAVU look to collapse in on this A site, and it's looking very good for them to close out the half.
Yeah, again, I think we need to talk about just the sheer resilience of this HAVU side. Something that we didn't really mention at the end of the last map after being 12-3 down to bring it all the way back and win themselves the map. Then the same can be said in this one. Again, a very good early start, 7-2 down, even having a round lost to just some USPs and just keep the mental state for HAVU, because plenty of teams in that scenario would have crumbled. Plenty of teams would have just let this half slip away. It would have been another 12-3 domination, and we'd be talking about how they have to bring it back all over again. Instead, they've got an 8-7 half, which is very good on Train. Like 7 rounds on the T side of Train is something I'm sure plenty of teams would take if you offered it to them at the beginning of the map. So now going on to their CT side where they were unstoppable, ZOREE still doing ZOREE things with that AWP, and some of the other members of the squad still performing. I would like to see Saw come up, because I do think he's one of the members that can be most exciting to watch on this team. But with 7 rounds, a pistol under their belt, this should probably be a relatively easy finish for them.
Yeah, and over on the Hard Legion side of things, Krad has had a much quieter game here. Only on 5 kills at the bottom of the board. Over on Overpass, he was winning them a lot of their rounds. He was getting a lot of entry kills, which I think were what was helping Hard Legion actually have a chance in some of their rounds. But now, here on Train, it's not been the same. And heading into Hard Legion's T side, they're going to need to be relying on Krad to be playing and getting entry kills for them. 8-7 lead for Hard Legion, but heading into their T half, they've got a lot more work to do. Doto spamming with the USP, only able to get 1 kill. Somehow he's still alive here, though. The counter utility seeming to be successful for HAVU. sLowi's here to help his teammate as well, but Doto is still trapped in that corner, just waiting for his teammate to land some shots, and sLowi isn't connecting. Doto somehow still alive. The smoke goes down. He's going to continue to just tuck into that corner, and elsewhere, Krad looking for a fight that he is unable to land. Saw gets another kill, and HAVU have just about held on at the start of this.
This has got so awkward.
Sure.
If he survives the whole round in that corner, it would be a little bit ridiculous. He even goes in at the end. Ah, you thought you got me. Well, I've got you instead. 8-8. Be interested to see what Hard Legion actually decide to do here. Of course, they can get the bare bones AKs with a little bit of utility into the next round, or they can force, try and win it out, try and break whatever purchase comes up for the CT side with the Tech 9s they invest into. Interestingly, Doto's gone for a rifle without head armor. Now, normally, that's absolutely fine. When you know that there's AKs coming, that's not a problem. But when you're facing off against a team that has nothing, that is a pretty big risk to take. An even bigger risk is the fact that ZOREE has not invested into anything, just a P250, which I am not a fan of. I never like these sort of strats, especially even if it's just pistols, because then things can easily slip away. Luckily, there was no force buy here, there was no investment, so it will be absolutely fine. And it does mean he can get his AWP, but it just seems like a risk not really worth taking.
Well, that AWP is now bought by ZOREE, so it all works out for him this time. No need to get worried. Still a bunch of SMGs kept by HAVU into this round, though. Some of their players will have money in the next round, but ZOREE especially has spent all of his. So it would be nice for HAVU if they could win here on what is kind of a bonus round for them, with mostly SMGs in play. Train's definitely a map where you can get aggressive into some positions. Pop Dog is one where I would expect an SMG to play. It's actually Doto with the rifle who's taken this position, though. And elsewhere, ZOREE has opened up the round with the AWP. Rage, though, out through A main, gets that one kill, and the SMG doesn't really want to take this fight against him. So it's brought back into a 4v4, at least for now. But ZOREE has got pretty good vision onto Rage's position. The nade does a bit more damage, and sLowi is moving in, ready for this fight, but Rage is one step ahead of him. ZOREE there to trade, but it's the B site that we need to look at. Hard Legion have found the kills necessary to get this bomb down, and HAVU at this point surely have to save. I'd be backing on up right now if I was ZOREE.
I still wanted to just give himself the chance if he did find a quick pick to maybe turn things back around. Of course, they've got a couple of gun upgrades here, and with the amount of money that they still have in the bank, the buy in the next round will probably be better than the one they had going into this round, so it's not really the end of the world for HAVU. Important, though, the Hard Legion have got off to a decent start on their T side, especially Rage, because he's not normally someone we see a whole lot from on the T side. I think he can have impact, but most of the time his AWPing style is waiting for other people to peek him, so if that peek never comes, it can be a bit of an issue. And they're going to need him more so today, because as we saw on the last map, not having forZe in the roster is making things a little bit tougher for them. Of course, we do have a stand-in the form of Throne.
Yeah, Throne's still leading the way. All his kills coming from the CT side, though. He had 18 at the half, but there haven't been too many T rounds played, and this is the first one where it is a full buy round for both teams. That's why HAVU needed to save those guns, because they didn't have much money for the rest of their players, but thanks to the 2 guns being saved, it is a full buy for them, and Throne has been caught out early. Good shot from ZOREE onto Throne's position. Throne clearly not ready for the AWP to be holding that angle early on. Oh, they go for further fights as well, but Doto is playing the same position around E-Box, and the counter utility is slowing Hard Legion down. The fights continue to come through one by one, and HAVU are winning all of them. Oh,
what? Okay, Krad even waiting on the angle. Krad just got killed by a Krad play. That must be painful. But either way, svyat doesn't have control of the bomb. Has made sound as well, so this will give a lot of information over to the remaining players. And Doto's going to win a 3rd duel. What a round from him. He's having a great game as well. 19-11. Right at the top of the board, having a race with ZOREE to see who can finish top. And well, more importantly, a 10-9 scoreline with a bit of an awkward position now for Hard Legion. They've got a couple of players that can invest into the AKs, but the remainder would be in a bit of an awkward position, so chances are just a bit of a half buy in this round.
Yeah, the good old deco. 4 degs bought on the low buy round for Hard Legion. Aggression coming in from HAVU, even though they're against the low buy, and both nades land onto kinqie, who's very low. Oh! Somehow he lands that shot onto sLowi. There's a second man waiting. The Molotov forces kinqie away, but another kill's come in elsewhere. It's a 2-man lead, turned back into a 1-man lead, thanks to the shot from ZOREE. But it's still leaving Hard Legion in a position where they can actually do something here. kinqie's got an AK. They've got a man advantage, but they don't have nades. And as they move into B, hoody unable to land the shots. Hard Legion have just brute forced their way into this round, and they're winning it. svyat gets another deg shot, and out of nowhere, the degs win the round for Hard Legion.
This is happening too often as well. Like, this is now the 2nd round where we've seen just a round completely thrown away from HAVU, a chance for them to build into the half, to get rolling, to basically get themselves ever closer to winning out this series, and Hard Legion have just slammed the door shut in their face with a few pistols. Most of their players didn't even have any armor, so yeah, HAVU have really got to start questioning how they're letting rounds like this slip away. And while for the T side, this is a huge boost for them. They're going to get a bolstered economy. They're going to be sat in a position where financially they're going to be set for at least a round or two because they haven't had to buy up really anything going forward, just the extra nades, I guess armor as well, and Krad having to buy an AK. And now for HAVU, they've got the decision to make of whether or not this is actually going to be worth fully buying around. I would imagine the case is yes. Obviously these shots are very nice, but you do have to wonder why these are sort of like the solo peaks, being caught out of position, not really being forced out of any spots with utility. Just 1v1s, which is exactly what Hard Legion want.
Yeah, no, that's what I was worried about for Hard Legion. They didn't have any nades, so even when they got the kills, I thought they were going to be in trouble. But because they all peeked down the ramp at the same time, seemingly, they were actually able to get onto the B site. They got the timing right on that fight, and now they've got themselves into a position where they can try and reset HAVU's economy. 10-10 scoreline and a double AWP setup in play for HAVU. Hoody's playing an aggressive angle, but it's not going to work for him. Krad starting to show up onto the server now. It's been a slow game for him, but he gets an entry. That's always a big part of Hard Legion's success, especially in a game like this. If he can get entry kills, he can definitely open up the rounds for them, and they are moving into B.
Here is the man to watch. Not quite going to be connecting the second shot, but, well, you give him too many, and he's going to turn this into their favor. kinqie on the flank could definitely make things a little bit more interesting, though. They've got to be careful for this man coming in from behind. It doesn't seem like they're too well aware of this flank coming in. Instant shot onto ZOREE. That's the AWP, or at least one of them, gone. And with the time ticking away, they don't actually have a kit to defuse this doto with a nice shot. And the flank coming in could be perfect from sLowi. He's going to find that one kill. Now it's left all onto Rage. He takes down one. The peek count for the second. And doto doesn't have enough time. He's done it on his own. He's delayed enough on those remaining players. And it is going to be an 11th round for Hard Legion. It was ever so close, but they're not going to mind. Still plenty of cash for them. And for the CT side, none.
Yeah, there was so much pressure on Rage there for that second shot. That's the one that seals the deal, because the player he took out did have the kit. So if he'd have got that kill, he would have had time. But even when doto lands the shot in reply, he didn't have time to move on to the site. And HAVU have taken the decision to go for the force-up around the saved AWP, but it's not looking great for them. They've only got that one AWP saved, and then the rest of the players have a wide array of weaker weapons in the mix. ZOREE taking a fight early, but Rage is there with the AWP, so I don't think that's a fight that ZOREE will be going for any further. There are some nades for HAVU to work with, which might help them out if they can put those in the right place. ZOREE getting, or sorry, I should say Rage getting kind of close there on the wallbang, but not landing. One of the issues in this round for HAVU could be that their B anchor in Hoody only has a UMP. So getting multiple kills might be difficult for him, and Saw has just been mollied out of Pop Dog as well, so it's quite a slow rotate onto B now, but the players are starting to move into connector for HAVU. sLowi's arriving with the scout. There are still nades for Hard Legion though, so I'd expect that scout to be smoked off, and then Hoody with this UMP has got a hell of a task on his hands here. First kill is good, they're not trading. Oh, eventually Throne gets the kill, almost dying off to the UMP there, and they're not using their smokes to cross to the site, but they will be able to get the bomb down, and this is where HAVU are in trouble.
Yeah, it seems like this one's starting to slip away from them. This round seems nigh on impossible. Again, no kit available for them, so if they are going to go for this, they have to do it soon. We've seen ZOREE get his way on towards the site. The AWP of doto just sat back, but there's the freebie. That's the one kill. Another comes up. Saw trying to clear this back lines. If he's successful, it could all be over, and they've got enough time. What a retake. Hard Legion just needed to burn that clock down a little bit more, and somehow HAVU have managed to come out on top. I'll be honest, I don't really know how.
Yeah, I was worried for HAVU there without the kit, with the bomb being planted, but Hard Legions didn't show any resistance there. They didn't win a single fight. If they'd have won one of those, they would have probably slowed it down at the very least. And those odds from Unicorn remain in HAVU's favor. Remember, those are for the entire series, and HAVU are already one map up. They are still on the stronger side of Train as well with this even scoreline, but it's another one of these rounds where whoever loses it has to take a weaker investment. You can already see into this one. Krad only has a deagle. So the economy game continues to be a factor, and Throne wins that fight while going up the ladder. That is surprising.
Yeah, that's the sort of pick that you really can't afford to give away, especially in a round where there's meant to be pieces missing, but now Krad can actually look to make a play to go and retrieve that extra gun, and if anything now just gives a big advantage over to the T side. They've left Hoodie alone as the solo B defender, and you can see the T's a little bit wary about any aggression coming out from HAVU at this point, so going to be a bit more patient. ZOREE taking some interesting angles, that's for sure. It gives him a decent position, but in the meantime, they've completely negated Ivy control. I think sLowi's aware that they could be past this position already, but he's got to make sure he checks for it, and svyat's just waiting. An easy kill for him to take, and now they look to open up towards this A site. ZOREE really needs to go big in this round. 21 kills already, looking to try and add to that as they do look to wrap into this A site. He's got support from Hoodie to at least hold them in at the back lines to stop them from wrapping round behind him, but there's not a lot of space for him to play with. Already missing a shot, that's round over. There should be no way they find anything back into this, and Hard Legion at the crucial moment have won themselves a round.
Putting themselves back into the lead and putting the pressure on HAVU to try and win with a low buy. Problem is for HAVU, with their losing bonus, they're really not going to want to invest a whole lot into this one unless they go for a full force buy, which is the decision HAVU have taken. This is a big risk from HAVU here, but I think their money was in a position where even if they fully saved, they wouldn't have had a great buy anyway. They would have probably had some missing pieces, so they decided to try and take matters into their own hands with a force buy, which only has 2 MP9s and 3 pistols in play. This won't be easy for HAVU. It's a round where they've probably got to take some risks, and they've realized that. They've stacked 3 players on B, but Hard Legion are already sneaking up through Ivy. So if this A site goes against them, they probably won't have much of a chance here.
Oh, ZOREE with the all-in play, and this time he comes out with nothing. And again, so much space gathered. Doto does manage a kill at least. That will be an upgrade to an AK, but I think that's all they're going to get in this round. They seem to be fighting for rounds that just seem to be inevitable, especially now with the bomb making its way to the site. It does seem like it is just going to be the save for HAVU. But again, some risks taken with their economy, a force buy that doesn't even really come close, and Hard Legion will take these sort of rounds all day long, as they're now going to be setting themselves up for 13 onto the board. And in the next round, there can't really be an investment for HAVU.
Yeah, this puts HAVU very much on the back foot now in this game. Not only will Hard Legion have some money built up after saving 4 guns in this round, but as you suggested, HAVU have no way of buying into this next one. Unless they are completely crazy, they will take a save hit over on the HAVU side of things. Loss bonus isn't even that great. I mean, they should be able to buy rifles into the next round fine. They should be able to get most of their nades out. But an AWP seems almost out of the question right now, unless one of these players can get a kill with one of their guns and get some extra money. Could still be a chance for them in this round, though. You never know. They've got an AK, they've got an MP9, alongside a couple of pistols here. sLowi especially, down to $1,200. He's not going to have much money in the next round here. So that's a bit concerning from the HAVU side of things, but here comes some aggression, thrown fully blind, and he gets a kill before falling, but that's a second AK recovered by HAVU.
Oh, that's close. Could have been a free kill either way. Instead, both players walk away with their lives. sLowi, okay. Maybe the extra investment might actually pay off. He's retrieved another AK. Could HAVU about to finally get a round themselves that they probably shouldn't be getting? kinqie, though, this is a decent amount of ground gathered. It's more worrisome about the bomb, though, which could be a bigger issue. Hoodie does win the duel, and I wonder if he knows that Rage is just around this corner. It seems like he has a decent idea of it, and the nade is going to dunk down onto his position. Still a 3v2, but you have to bear in mind that there's definitely more vulnerabilities at the moment for this CT side. And with the push coming in, I don't know if he's going to expect Krad. It's a bit of an awkward duel, but it's one nonetheless. 40 seconds left on the clock as they are going to go pushing back into this A site, looking to try and clear some of the closer angles. sLowi is in a good spot. He catches Krad on the ladder, but he doesn't get the kill. A bigger issue for him, and it's an awkward fight, but sLowi doesn't connect a single bullet. The aim punch may be playing a part, but at this point, it doesn't really matter. They needed the kill, and Krad is going to spot out Saw. It's a 3K for him, a round saved. And now is crunch time for HAVU. They have enough money to go for an investment, although as you pointed out, there'll still be some pieces missing here. One of those crucial pieces seems to be Saw. 7 and 16, lagging behind the rest of the whole server pretty much by quite a margin. And while with ZOREE on the AWP, there's still opportunities, but HAVU this time don't seem to be doing anywhere near as well on their CT side.
Yeah, getting that AWP's nice for them. That's something I wasn't sure they'd be able to find, and ZOREE already putting it to use. First kill of the round comes in for the sniper, a nade kill to follow from doto. ZOREE got an assist on that as well, so I think he must have landed a shot onto both players there. And now svyat has got to make some magic happen as he moves into A. Oh, Saw's in position though, sneaking round the side, and Hard Legion losing every single fight at the start of this round. kinqie may not be ready for this angle either. Oh, perfect flashbang. sLowi gets the kill. And this is much more like it from HAVU. They haven't taken a single point of damage, and they've got 4 kills on the board.
Yeah, it's amazing how these rounds can just swing into their favor. There's been a few like this where they just seem to get the timing on the aggression right in every moment. Perfect way to break back onto the board, of course, for the T side. It's not really too much of a worry whatsoever. Financially, they're sound, and HAVU have not been good at streaking rounds together. Definitely not like they were on Overpass, with I think it was like 8 rounds in a row or something ridiculous before they eventually lost a round. That's kind of what they need here, except a slightly reduced number. They need just half of that. We'll see if they can break down what has been a relatively impressive T side so far for Hard Legion. Already 6 rounds onto the board for them in this second half, after just about closing out the first one. Aggressive stance, and Krad just winning that duel. Again, that seems to be the response. He actually goes pushing through the Molotov in an attempt to get a second kill. Instead, he's left himself on just 20 HP, but he has gained some map control and a bit of information.
Yeah, you've got to wake up pretty early in the morning to catch Krad with aggression. He is the master of playing aggressively. I'm sure he's fully aware of those plays that could be coming against him. And he gives his team the early lead. Second player rotated over to B from the HAVU side of things. That leaves A somewhat susceptible to a push, but it looks like the right read right now. ZOREE's AWP could be making a difference, but this smoke is quite common, and it's always difficult to deal with when you're an AWPer. You either have to try and push off the back of it or just sit back, and that's the approach that ZOREE's taken. He's playing it passively, and he's been dealt with. doto on the site, though, hasn't pulled the trigger. He could be in for a monster play here. They're not ready for him. doto transfers onto 2. He knows there's another player close by, but kinqie gets the kill he needed. And now sLowi is in a 1v2 with the AWP.
Yeah, his nade could actually be his most valuable bit of kit here, as Rage is so low on HP. kinqie just trying to shoulder peek some of the angles to work out where this last man is going to be standing. I know that sLowi would love to switch out this AWP, I'm sure. It's definitely not his weapon of choice going into a clutch situation, and I don't know if Rage has just spotted him here. It looks like he has information gathered, a kit available, but he needs one of these kills, and it isn't going to be happening. Hard Legion get to their 15th round, and the CT side at least have some cash in the bank, but it's not anything pretty.
No, it will be HAVU's last stand here, at least in this round. They have to win to keep themselves in it on train. And this was their map pick, remember. This is the map that we normally praise them on for being so solid as a team. But Hard Legion have been able to win a ton of 4 spies. Hard Legion's skill has really shined on through, even without Krad having a great game. Some of the other players have stepped it up for Hard Legion. Rage has been landing some shots with the AWP. Might not be landing shots at the start of this round, though. He's been flashed away from the position. Flash into A main looks good. kinqie completely blinded and completely obliterated by sLowi, who upgrades to an AK. The Ivy play has come through from Hard Legion, and they're going to begin to wrap through to B.
Yeah, Ivy has been a real weakness for HAVU in this CT side. They've been struggling to keep these players at bay. Most teams don't really utilize it as much as we've seen from Hard Legion, but without anybody to stop them, I can understand why they've made this call. sLowi will at least drop Rage, giving another upgrade, and hoodie's actually found another one. They brought this into a 3 versus 2 after plant position. However, their retakes haven't really gone too successfully. Now, the plan for svyat might be to try and clear out that upper B portion, the brown halls, but unfortunately, there's 2 players up there now. Nice shot onto the first. He expects the second, but can't quite get the frag. And now it's left all onto Krad. He's had a great game so far, a great comeback at least on the T side. And he's heard the footsteps of sLowi already. hoody needs to get onto that bomb, begin the defusal. The smoke's going to be going down. The spray is wild. And HAVU will live to fight for another round at least.
Yeah, good plays coming through from hoody and sLowi. Hard Legion thought that they'd be able to get onto the B site in time, but hoody was there helping out, helping slow it all down. And now Hard Legion, ooh, they don't seem to be on the same page here. Krad's bought that AK, while the rest of the team are going for the low buy. Krad's money still isn't awful, and having a hero AK in this sort of round can sometimes be nice. But as I was saying earlier, it's not been Krad's best game, so if he were to step up in the round, this would be it, and the answer is no. ZOREE is there to stop him. Krad has definitely been better on this T side, but not able to make the difference this time round. At least svyat gets the AK into his hands, but it's not looking good for Hard Legion. They've still got 2 Glocks in play, and I'm not sure what Throne is really going for here.
Teasing, that's what he's doing. Da-da-da, let's stick the leg down. Da-da-da-da.
And now I'm just imagining you doing it, and that's not a picture I want in my head.
Oh, you can see my legs right now. They're right in front of you.
I could, but I'm looking firmly at the Counter-Strike top.
I don't believe you. I can see
my love is solely for Counter-Strike, the beautiful game.
Well, Rage. He's got an AK in hand, but realistically, what can he do with it? And would it be worth saving it into the next round? Give him slightly more in terms of finances, especially if he's going to be juggling it over to maybe Throne in return for an AWP, or svyat for that matter. He does have enough extra cash to invest into this round, although it seems like he might have made the decision that he actually wants to die. He is just going to go running in, pre-firing the angle. I'll be honest, that doesn't really make much sense. I guess he just didn't want to die after the time, because he's actually ended up with less cash than he would have done if he just saved the AK.
Well, Hard Legion have got the buy into this one. That's the main thing that matters. Into the last round of regulation. And Krad will be stuck with a deagle. No AWP to speak of, just the AKs for 4 players on the Hard Legion side. Meanwhile, HAVU have got an abundance of AWPs. They've got 2 snipers on the CT side of things. Overpass went the distance as well. This series has been very hotly contested so far. And Hard Legion might try and end this one with the B play. hoody here to stop them. Good kill onto the first. Looks for more. 3 kills from hoody. It's an absolute lockdown, and it's almost certainly going to overtime, especially with svyat having a knife in his hands. It is overtime here on Train.
Yeah, going the full distance, and I'll be honest, I didn't really believe that HAVU were going to be able to bring that back after the CT side we'd seen so far. It was really just individual rounds that they weren't able to string together, and financially always in trouble for the majority of the match. Now, though, things get a little bit more interesting, as not only do we get to see them with the finances, at least for the first couple of rounds, but we get to see whether or not Hard Legion is still going to be able to get away with a lot of the cheeky plays they were making on the T side. Like, for example, their pushes through Ivy quite regularly, whether it was to wrap around onto B. Also, even some players, for example, Krad running through Molotovs and basically taking big risks. So it's going to be interesting to see whether or not it will just go back to HAVU still stringing these together, or or if it is going to be Hard Legion breaking out a couple of special rounds.
And that last round of regulation as well, you've got to think that there should have been some flashes over the top maybe to make life difficult for hoody. That's why he was able to get away with the spray onto so many players. If you don't use your nades there, that position is so powerful for the CTs. Hard Legion this time able to get the pick though. Rage getting aggressive with the AWP, finally taking matters into his own hands. sLowi on the CT side has got one of his own though. And Rage is still waiting for assistance, but the bomb has been left behind here. So as much as Hard Legion are kind of gaining ground, it's costing them players, and they don't have the bomb to work with. ZOREE landing shots brings it into a 2v2 now after all the trades continue to come through, and Throne may not realize there's another man on B. Oh, he's dead. He's got to be. Whoa, doto might not get the timing now. I don't think Throne has a clue, though. Surely doto is in a position where he can make the difference. There's an opportunity.
Oh.
He finally spots the gun barrel, but he's going to have to let Throne go. The question is, does the bomb now come back to B? This is so awkward.
Oh no! They know he's there, but they just missed the shot. That was the perfect opportunity to get a free kill. 30 seconds left, and it's back to the A site for both the bomb and Throne, who's wrapped all the way through B. Now things become relatively tough as they've got a Molotov to close out both angles, not allow anybody to get back in behind them. There is going to be a push coming in that direction, and Rage is actually going to juggle the bomb to a teammate just to try and give that opportunity for it to be planted. The peek out from doto, though, actually nets him a kill. I thought he would be dead for sure taking a risky play like that, but now it's down to Throne to try and keep Hard Legion in this round. He's not going to be able to. doto with a high impact play. And a 16th will now be onto the board for HAVU.
Yeah, doto couldn't find Throne when he was over on the B side of the map, but eventually he makes up for it by getting the kill at the end there onto Throne to win the round for his team. Yeah, just high IQ plays there from doto, realizing exactly where the opponents would be coming from, realizing exactly where he needed to look. As soon as they started to move to the site and they realized the bomb planter hadn't fought them, he knew that the player probably had to have repositioned to the other side, and he just waited. He just held the angle. He trusted his instincts, and his instincts were correct. So a lead for HAVU after their first CT round, but svyat, whoa, he tries to go aggressive, and once again, HAVU have got that angle on lockdown. The pushes out Throloff have not been successful here in overtime, but Throne has found one elsewhere, and Throne is pushing out all the way into E-Box, trying to make more things happen for his team, but Saw's there to stop him. HAVU hold the man advantage, at least for now. Nope, not any longer.
Yeah, again, it's Ivy control that seems to be the biggest issue for HAVU. A free position to just walk through, and ZOREE's looking for the shots, but the flick a little bit too fast. hoody, though, has killed off Krad. They've got to be careful of the players on top of the carriages. hoody maybe about to walk into his doom as Rage is just holding the angle. He's got to be careful of the players above. This is a big play. He's in a good position to maybe deny them here. He's actually going to go walking around. He knows that the player on top of the timing. kinqie peeks back, and it will be 16-16. And the CT side, even though they did manage to keep things relatively clean in that first... Well, not clean, but they managed to win the first one. It's still going to have financial troubles going into this one.
Yeah, ZOREE still gets the AWP, but some of his teammates won't be as lucky. UMP for hoody, MP9 for Saw. There is a second AWP in play as well, but that's at the cost of utility and at the cost of having no kit on the HAVU side of things here. Definitely something worth remembering as this round goes on. Although, in all honesty, a lot of these rounds have just come down to brawls and just duels across the map. So the bomb plant might not even be a factor if it keeps on going that way. Rage winning the first fight. That peak is one that the CTs have been going for in the previous rounds as well. This time, Rage was ready for it. But sLowi pushes out through Ivy, and the battle of the AWPers is even early. sLowi with a great flick over to the left side, doubles down on the round.
Oh, hoody just about gets away with that one. Had to use 22 bullets, and the incendiary hasn't actually denied. Nobody expects it anyway. Here's the ticks of the Molotov. And leaves it all onto Rage. A chance to double down on that CT side. He's made quite a bit of noise here, and Doto knows exactly where he is. Doesn't need to take this fight. In fact, they can just trap him in. Peek comes out, and sLowi gets his triple. A good round for HAVU, especially considering their financial circumstances. Now they need just 2 more to close this one out versus the CT side of Hard Legion.
Yeah, got to give props to sLowi ZOREE as well. The fact he expects this player to be on the left side, or rather, probably doesn't expect him to be there. After landing the first shot, you'd think that player would peek out sooner, but then he just lands the reaction shot. All about instinct, and wow, we've got an auto sniper, Tom. We don't see this often, even in overtime, but kinqie wants to get a bit cheeky with it. The auto sniper picked up on the CT side. What's wrong? Why is it kinqie? Why, of course?
Just because of the name,
sure,
combined with the fact that it's a bit of an obscure taste.
All right.
That is the way I'll put it.
All right.
Doto, though, has almost killed him off within the first few seconds of the round. We'll see if he's ended up getting punished when kinqie survives just that little bit longer. Of course, he is used to taking a little bit of damage. Nonetheless, ZOREE is going to kill off the throne. That Molotov has only been partly extinguished, which actually hasn't helped out the squad too much. But with the 2 rotations that have come in, it could end up working out for the T side.
Oh, there's not a gap in the smoke. I thought for a second sLowi might see that man. Krad moves on over. Elsewhere, though, Doto's got a second kill for HAVU. And at this point, Hard Legion might have to rely on that auto sniper to help bring them back into the round. Krad's been left alone on B, though. And that looks like it's where HAVU want to end this one. Good kill from Krad. Oh, kinqie does get one with the auto. So all of a sudden, this round is anyone's game here. And Krad is being the same crazy man that he is. I thought he was going to move through the smoke, but he goes back. 35 seconds left on the clock. HAVU still looking to go towards B, but Rage has rotated over with the AWP. Look at the nades Hard Legion have left. They could slow this down just with their utility.
And there's nothing they can even really do. They don't have any of their own unless they want to try and fight fire with fire. That's the only utility that HAVU actually have left. They're going to go pushing into this site. Hoody leading the charge, and Krad has shut them all down, looking for his 4K. Another crucial round from Krad as they reach 17-17. And while looking desperately to try and take the lead here.
Yeah, Krad's really stepped it up as well as this game has gone on. I think in the first half, he had a very slow start to the game. I believe at the half, he had 5 kills. I think he was 5 for 12 from the first half alone. That's changed completely as this game has gone on. He's had more and more impact as this game has transpired. And now it really is anyone's game here. HAVU again going for the AWP into the hands of ZOREE. So the T-side economy could actually be a factor if they were to lose this one, especially if they couldn't get the bomb down. Then their money might not be perfect. Over on the Hard Legion side of things, though, they stick with the 2 snipers. And the auto sniper did get a kill in the previous round. This time, though, Rage has no way that he's going to land that shot on the run boost. But he now knows there are 2 players here. He knows there's one on the right side, and the smoke won't obscure his vision, so he might have a chance to land a shot. The Molotov should deny him, though, should force him away. He tries to hang around, but he's down to half health from standing in the flames for so long.
Yeah, good utility usage in the early stages for HAVU. Probably going to be a little bit frustrated by the fact they didn't manage to do anything in the previous round, and more, they haven't actually taken too much control here, which, if anything, is just going to mean that, again, they're going to have to use even more grenades to try and force Rage off of this angle. Shot won't be connected. The flashbang hits him, though, and that is the time he has to fall back, and he won't be able to. Sora's found a kill and looks to continue this push. Another from the B side. It's the auto sniper spamming away, and while kinqie is punished this time, svyat has found a kill, but although their finances aren't bad on the majority of the players, with everybody being on B, it might actually just be necessary to save an extra gun. Maybe the auto sniper. If he can get there, never mind. He's got no face.
Yeah, HAVU get themselves up to 18. It's HAVU who have themselves map and series point. Hard Legion's buy shouldn't be too compromised. They've still got the full rifles. They're still pretty okay on nades across the board, so it's not a big deal for them. But they still need to make sure they win this round to keep themselves in this series and to keep themselves in the tournament. They've had to fight through adversity. They've had to fight through having stand-ins over on the Hard Legion side of things throughout this Hellcase Cup. Let's see if they can fight back one more time to take us to a second overtime. Krad playing a dangerous game at the start of the round, as he so often decides to do, but he does back away to B, and oh, Doto walks down the ladder and almost wins the fight. kinqie survives on a slither of health, and he should be able to get away safely behind Ewoks right now, but sLowi is really upping the pace here, and they're not ready for it. sLowi gets an entry onto A, and this A site is looking somewhat vulnerable now. kinqie is very low on health, and sLowi's going to continue to push.
He's the one looking to make the play for his squad in this round, and the rest of the team are just waiting for it, but he's going to get tagged again. We see another player go down in pop. It seems to be one of those real problem areas for HAVU on this T side over the last couple of rounds. Even when they were on CT side, in fact, they lost a fair few duels in this exact position. Again, sLowi, they're relying on him to do something here, but it's edging ever closer to a second overtime. He hears all the footsteps, but it's almost just bait to try and get him to peek. He will, though, and he's found another kill for his team in this round.
Ooh. The
peek going to be coming out, though, and Krad just really hasn't been caught off guard too many times. It needs to be an instant trade, and that might be it. It's looking like an 18-18 as sLowi. Well, he's got 18 HP as well. It's almost like it was written in the stars, as Hard Legion are going to equalize things up once more.
Yeah, I thought they might get the timing right onto Krad there, who was watching up. It's always difficult when you're playing on that B site to watch both those angles and to get the right read on the situation. But Krad just about looked back in time, and Krad hasn't been caught many times. As you said, he's been very reliable on that B site, which is impressive. I think with the way that Krad plays, with how aggressive he plays in some of his rounds, for him not to be dying early, I've liked this much more from Krad. A lot of the times he maybe goes for a bit of aggression early, and then he falls back, and then he plays more standard. And it's working for him, because you can see that Krad's got a really good set of aim on him. You can see he's got skills, and he's making the most of them here. Second overtime it is then, between these two. We are getting all the bonus rounds here on Train after Overpass nearly went to overtime as well. And HAVU starting on that T side, putting some early smokes out onto A. Doto's trying to use these to his advantage, but he won't win that fight. kinqie doesn't take a single point of damage in getting that kill. Oh, Krad's pushed Ivy as well.
He's been spammed. Looks like the B play is going to be coming in. If they don't do this quickly, it could be a problem, but they are going to go pushing, and again, it's a double spray down. Shots just not being connected for the T side, and Saw trying desperately to make this one come back. Of course, Krad is coming in from behind, so this is looking like it's over before it even really begins. An easy round for Hard Legion, 4 players surviving as they take themselves the lead once again.
Yeah, I can't put too much stock into the leads for these teams at this point. It's been very back and forth throughout this game, even in the overtimes. Make sure to check out Hellcase. You can use the code SLTV15 for a 15% refill bonus. Back into another buy round for both teams, though. HAVU unable to really get anything going in that previous round. They'll be hoping for a better time of things in this one, as sLowi makes it out through A main.
The Molotov, though, is going to give his position away. That's risky. But Rage doesn't actually connect the shots. Krad also just waiting patiently for anybody to try and maneuver themselves around him. Playing such an aggressive stance. Normally the player over on the B side when he's doing things like this, but he catches a kill. sLowi and Doto have found one elsewhere. In fact, Doto's got a double. Stepping up big in this round. He's been a bit hit and miss with his aggressive A main plays. Instead, actually, Throne's going to go rotating back to the B side. He catches hoody. And with an open bomb site no longer alone, and in fact, Krad, even coming in on the flank, he's been spotted though. This becomes so awkward for the remaining players as they're trying desperately to fight towards the last man, and this is one of the weirdest rounds I've seen in a while. It will end up in a 1v1. An after plant position for Saw, some utility to expend for Krad as he goes peeking back into the site. They had a big advantage in this round already, and I don't know if he spotted him on top of the train. Just going to be sat there. The shot's actually connecting, and he's burnt all the way down to 1 HP. This round has gone completely wrong for HAVU. And while It will be Hard Legion getting to 20.
I'm not even going to try and break down that round, Tom. Normally I'd try and tell you what happened, but I don't really know. I don't think the players know. HAVU just seemed to get caught in two minds there, where they had players on A, but the bomb was alone going over to B. Maybe they didn't realize who had the bomb. I don't really know. What I do know, though, is that Hard Legion are the ones with the 2-round lead. The first 2 rounds of the second overtime going to Hard Legion. And for those keeping track at home, it would be first to 22 rounds who would take the victory. Or we could end 21-21 and have even more action here on Train. HAVU's buy isn't too bad, only one Galil in the mix. Nice shot from Rage, but it's only the leg of ZOREE, so he's not going to get the kill. He goes back for more, and that's going to cost him. Very risky play from Rage, and Hard Legion have already lost 2 players.
Yeah, again, this is a similar scenario to what we saw in the last round, and Krad is going to be handed an individual fight. A second comes up, the trade's back thick and fast, as again, it's going to be the T's struggling to hold on to their advantages. It's an almost identical scenario on either side. 1 HP separates the 2 low players. Krad coming round potentially at the perfect time. I think ZOREE's dead for sure, and the bomb just being planted, but can't be held. Also, the position coming in from Throne could be perfect, but he's actually going to be left in the open, and they have no idea where Krad currently remains. If he can back away, this could be perfect for hoody. He's going to go all the way around, try and set this up for the same retake we saw just moments ago on that B site. Krad is still trying to retake A, thinking he's got the drop on his opponent, and will realize very soon that the bomb's going down on B.
Yeah, kind of surprised that Krad thought it would be A there at that point, because he knew that hoody had the information that Krad was playing from Ivy. Krad has a Molotov here, which could be a difference maker with where hoodie's playing right now. If he gets mollied off at ramp or upper, that could be enough to allow Krad, but you can see how worried Krad is. He's concerned of all these close angles. This is a lot of time being wasted from Krad on the left side of your screen. Finally, the Molotov deploy, but it's the wrong side of things. hoody might have the angle from ramp. Still no tap on the bomb. Krad goes for the fight, but hoody wins it. HAVU getting at least a single round from their T sides here, heading into the second half of the second overtime.
Yeah, that's the minimum they would have hoped for going into the CT side. It is possible for them to keep things flawless. The only worry for me is, well, as you mentioned, the coach isn't there, and maybe taking a tactical pause in this scenario would have been perfect to sort of realize some of the holes that have been in their defense. Ivy has been a huge one for HAVU. The fact that so many times we've seen Krad and many other players within their team be able to just walk out Ivy and take these battles that really shouldn't be allowed for them. You see the difference with Rage holding it on this side of the map. It was much tougher, even though he did take some big risks. It seemed like a more difficult thing to take away, and then they always had a rotational player in spot to deny any further ground from being taken. We'll see, though, if HAVU going into the CT side are going to be able to do anything to deny Hard Legion from getting this one over the line. Of course, only needing a couple of rounds. 22 is the goal.
Double AWP setup back on the board for HAVU, as they have been rocking in most of these rounds now that we've headed into overtime. Early nades deployed by both squads. kinqie will be the man forced away. And over at Ivy, sLowi is getting aggressive with this AWP, trying to see if he can take this position away, but Rage wins the fight. That was a left eye peek as well. That's not an easy shot to land, but the flashbang just put sLowi off enough, and Rage was very quick on the trigger as well. So man advantage early in the round for Hard Legion. They can afford to slow things down here now, as HAVU are the ones who are sweating in this one.
Yeah, I think we're going to see them try to be a little bit more proactive now after losing so much initial map control. The first steps are going to be heard going towards that B side of the map, though, and this could be the perfect gamble for them. Just send the remaining players into B, try and set themselves up nicely. The nade actually does a reasonable amount of damage, and hoody in such an aggressive position. It's all going to come down to timing. And they do have a couple of flashbangs to try and keep him off of that angle. And they still got enough time, but this is the push. There's the flash. It's so well done. Completely baited out. and gets the kill, leaves ZOREE to try and fight this one back. Doto has, however, found a kill elsewhere, and so well placed, but how does Krad get that kill? It's left onto ZOREE. He might just even have to save this AWP. As the chance of him winning this is slim, and I think he may have even been spotted fading over the top. Thrown is going to put him down 21-19 as it does start to become a real struggle now for the CT side, as Hard Legion need just one more round to take us to a third map.
Yeah, and they've got 2 chances to do it. Dust 2 would be the decider if necessary, and it's feeling more and more likely that we might be headed to Dust 2 based on what we're seeing here. HAVU still have a decent buy across the board. They still have themselves a chance to keep on fighting here on their map pick, but Hard Legion have the early pick. Rage wins that initial fight. Flash forces him away, but he'll be fine with that. It's another round where Rage gives his team the man advantage. Same aggression from HAVU, though. This gets them the information again. They know that A main is clear. This time they're going to stick with their B stack as well. They've got a second man rotating over. ZOREE's pushing all the way through, but the push is about to come in from the Hard Legion side of things. Hoody playing on top of the blue train. The spray only gets one. Saw's still alive at the back of the bomb site, and Hard Legion are using their nades, but they might not know Saw's here. Saw should get this kill, eventually finds it, but it's a lot of bullets wasted in the process, and he's out of ammo. svyat wins that fight against him, and it's a 2v3, which HAVU have to win, but it's not looking likely. It's all on sLowi. He lands a shot there, but it's not good enough for the kill, and he is a dead man. It's Hard Legion who win on train. A complete slog between these two, but we are going to Dust 2.
Yeah, and a surprise, in all honesty. After the way that they came back in the first map, they got 7 rounds on their initial T side. Looked like there was going to be another day in the office on train, and then they just kind of shut down. Like, if anything, they should have lost this one in regulation. It took a fight back of, I think, 4 rounds in a row to even get us to overtime. And yeah, I was a bit disappointed in HAVU. They seem to be the less dynamic of the 2 teams, while the other team has a stand-in, which is a pretty disappointing front for them, considering that realistically they should be the better team anyway, even without the stand-in. And then you consider the fact that a lot of the time it was just Hard Legion putting a lot of pressure on their T side into Ivy, a spot that's normally quite difficult to dominate at least, and then having some decent switch-ups with wraparounds into B. I definitely don't think we saw the best of HAVU in this match, and I think even towards the end of it, you got a few maybe frustration moments, or just moments where players were feeling the pressure, as Saw just really having a rough one today. Not a good map from him, and I think that if he'd been on form as he normally is, he could have been the difference maker.
Yeah, it's hard to know what the mentality of both these teams will be like heading into Dust 2 as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a pretty big break between the 2 maps for both these teams to have a chance to reset. Because over on the HAVU side especially, the fact they lose their own map pick here, and the fact this series has been so close to begin with, has got to be a concern for them. I think some of the individuals definitely struggling, but definitely some rounds where HAVU just weren't able to use their utility as efficiently as I wanted them to. I think that was also another problem for them. At times, the team play didn't look great from them. It seemed like in some rounds, HAVU were able to maybe get some aggressive moves early and were able to look pretty good. But across the board, there were just too many rounds where Hard Legion were able to brute force their way into it. And even back in regulation, it was Hard Legion who had the chance to close it out sooner than HAVU, even though at one point it was a 10-10 scoreline with HAVU on their CT side. So definitely a scrappy game here on train. And now going into Dust 2, I mean, Hard Legion have showed their players are showing up. If they can turn that into a similar brawl, they've got themselves a chance in this series, even with the stand-in.
Yeah, especially like when you consider that HAVU recently played this map, even picked this map versus Nemiga and got trounced on it. Like they really didn't look good at all. They suffered versus the T side. They picked into the CT side to try and win that battle, and they really didn't have anything. And it was almost like what we saw in the first map. So if they're going to play like that again today, then I think they're going to be eliminated from this tournament. And, well, when you consider, like, you look at the scoreboard, Doto having a pretty damn good performance, Hoody not playing bad. It was just a couple of players not really stepping up. Thrown as a stand-in, it has to be said, it has done a very good job, especially on the CT side. I think he was very impressive, being able to dominate the majority of the time on that B side, which, especially when you're standing in against a team that likes to play train, you have to give props to that man for doing such a good job. And if they do survive in this tournament and get themselves some prize pool, I think he definitely deserves the lion's share of it, because he's really put in a shift, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I think he got 18 of his kills from that first half in regulation on that CT side, so he was very helpful in getting them into this position in the first place, and then we started to see some of those other guys stepping up. Because I said earlier, Krad had a really slow start to the game, but he just kept on going up and up as we headed into the second half, and then as we headed into overtime, he started finding his form, which is always a positive for the Hard Legion side of things. Yeah, still just a bit of a collapse, in all honesty, from HAVU. I think lots of those rounds will be rounds they look back on and think, man, we probably should have done a bit better there. We probably could have won that. But
yeah,
Dust 2 has got to be a different story for them. They can't have any more excuses.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We've got a short break to come up. Hopefully, we'll be back into this one relatively soon and get our lower bracket finalist. We'll be back in a moment.